Hello. I am a creative, as evidenced by the brocade fabric you see behind me. You see, brocade is a telltale sign of someone who knows nothing about math or science. I have also found myself embroiled in a relationship with an engineer. An engineer is commonly known as someone who knows quite a bit about the steam locomotive. Yes, the passage to the west. The train. But what I've learned in this relationship is that engineers come in all shapes and sizes. Yes, apparently engineers not only stave off Old West robberies and carry children to the North Pole in Christmas time, they are not only responsible for all of the technologies that we have in the world today, but are also responsible for the greatest discovery of the 21st century. Magic. Yes, magic lets us light our homes. It lets us get to work on time so our boss will stop yelling at us. Let this be an introduction into the world of magic from a creative, someone who has no idea what the hell is going on at any given time.
Now get in there and do some work to do with computers!
This is not the type of lubrication you think it is, and yes, I learned that the hard way. Batteries are rectangular sometimes. They have a very interesting take on dinosaur puppets. These things. I've learned that these things are not actually little models of tiny cities, but instead help with computers or something. It's called a power supply?
That is a power supply.
This is apparently called a power supply. I always imagined the big black thing was just a tower in a city. And look, that thing looks like the power plant. Or perhaps a Stargate. This is the residential area, and down here in downtown is the business sector. I would actually prefer that cities were modeled more like this, but then again, I don't think that civil engineers should take advice from me. Apparently there are lights specifically made to tell whether or not I'm doing a good job cleaning. Spoiler alert, I am not. I've learned that engineers are apparently also part of the pharmaceutical industry, distributing odd medications that I can only assume are helpful with getting more iron in the blood. I don't feel anything. This thing is apparently not just a straight edge to make sure that your fabrics come out even and clean. It's apparently used to make sure that things like tables, wall hangings, and floors are even, which, as I've come to find out, is something that is preferable. I didn't ask my boyfriend what tool this was, but I can only assume that it is a giant capsule for housing clones. I don't know who's in there right now, but all I can say is, hello? I can only hope it's a clone of me so that I have someone to play dress up with. This tool is apparently not supposed to be used as an egg beater. It's apparently some type of church minister that officiates weddings between pieces of wood, binding them in everlasting matrimony. Oh, it's dead. This may look to be ABC gum. Already been chewed. I don't know what this is. It feels to be ABC gum. But when you chew on it, it tastes what I imagine a lemon pledge wipe would taste like. You know, after all the flavor has been chewed out of it. So really not off-brand for like Orbit-based gum. And I have a tendency to swallow my gum anyway, which I know is terrible for you. Okay, I don't know if it's terrible for you, or if that's just an urban legend propagated by the big gum companies so that you spit out your gum and the world is just now coated with gum, the roads paved in rubber. I don't know to what end, but it sounds conspiratorial enough for them to do. This is not gum either. This is a problem-solving device that apparently helps calm down parties when engineering parts get too lit. Apparently syringes can be used for things other than heroin. Engineers tend to weaponize everything, including temperature guns. Choo! You may be surprised to learn that this is actually not a giant IMAX theater for fairies. Instead, this is a tool for accessing YouTube when you do not have your phone. Christmas decorations are a little different in this house. Yes, even shoes are made out of metal in the engineer life. This is apparently not crafting wire, but instead more Christmas decorations. Oh, and do you hear that loud whirring sound? If you couldn't tell, this is indeed a device to expel hot air into the room. My boyfriend tried to explain what it was, but ultimately the heater explanation is better. And that's just a box full of light bulbs. This is apparently not a nail filer. I mean, you could file nails, finger or otherwise. It's apparently used as a deterrent device for me, spreading metal bits all throughout the air, making sure that I don't come in a room without shredding my lungs. You may not be aware that most engineers are actually practicing warlocks and wizards, able to break the rules of physics. That did not work out. The modern engineer has found ways to freeze entire islands in glass, and also applied this technology to miniaturizing boats. What a world.